there, welcome back to my channel, and I hope that today is starting off really good for you, or at least as close as you can get to it. Well, hey, we are back, and we are got more stories to give for today, so I'm so glad that you are here. Sit back, relax, and be really prepared to go ahead and drop down your thoughtful comments in the comment section below. Love to know your thoughts on what is going on in these stories here. So as we all know, you would literally have to be on another planet to not know the era of Diddy, right? The saga that is Diddy stretches over so many things, so many people, so many lives, so many occurrences, so many instances. A lot of those alleged, and so we'll see how those things turn out with the trial that's going on right now, which a lot of us have dubbed one of the trials of the century. That being said, one person who has also been very vocal in a lot of conversation when it's been related to Diddy is one Al B. Shore. Now, Al B. Shore, as you know, was in a coma for quite some time. Excuse me. And has now been very vocal about his feelings about how he potentially got there. And so we're going to dive into that today. And we're also going to dive into the fact that it appears that Kim Porter's best friend breaks her silence as well. There's a reporting of that, and it's in regards to Al B. Shore's accusations of Diddy. So we're going to hear about what she has to say as well. So with that, let's go ahead and just dive right on in. Our first sharing is going to be, well, Al B. Shore willing to testify about what he may know and feel about how he got into that coma, thereby testifying against Diddy. Let's check it out. All right, so our first sharing is coming to us by way of Hot New Hip Hop and Newsbreak. And it shares, Al B. Shore says he's willing to testify against Diddy for allegedly putting him in a coma. Now, Al B. Shore recently appeared on Fox 5's Good Day New York, where he talked about his upcoming book, His Coma from 2022, and his many accusations against Diddy. For those unaware, the singer has a key connection to Sean Combs as they both dated Kim Porter and shared children with her. During this specific exchange obtained by the Art of Dialogue on Twitter, Al B. Shore explained that his organ failure was mysterious and out of the blue. He also revealed that people clowned his accusations of trafficking against Sean Combs years before his scandal allegations began. Eventually, the New Jack Swing performer got around to the topic of his relationship with Kim Porter, saying she often warned him about industry dangers. And in fact, this is one of the reasons why, well, Al thinks Porter did not actually pass away of pneumonia. He says she was in the best of health right before her passing. Apparently, the Boston native was at a Netflix event with Diddy, Kim Porter, and the kids. Porter allegedly warned him to stop teasing Combs while at his event. Although Al B. Shore did not explicitly accuse Diddy of being behind her passing, he believes there should be an investigation into it. Now, Al B. Shore, well, let's talk about his book. Elsewhere, the 56-year-old said many networks approached him to tell his story, but he decided to tell his own. He will release his new memoir, Do You Believe Me Now?, later this year, covering all these topics and many more. I have no interest in speaking about another man, Al B. Shore said of Diddy, but I will speak about where our paths cross and what's most relevant. Unfortunately, even with Sean being incarcerated, that's not a celebration. There's no celebration in it. First and foremost, there's way too much collateral damage in many, many ways. However, Al doesn't blame the bad boy mogul for his damage, but rather the industry for allowing it to fester. He said there's no one person that's in charge and clarified Diddy is not pursuing legal action against him to his knowledge. Also, Quincy Brown's father clarified that he didn't volunteer to testify at the Diddy trial, but rather received a subpoena. He did say he's absolutely willing to testify and that folks have put a bounty on his head before to try to silence him. Finally, Al B. Shore publicly stated for the first time that he believes Sean Combs or someone associated with him had something to do with his organ failure and coma. This coma, after months of rumors and insinuations, I'm the only one who spoke up and I'm the only one left alive, he remarked. And of course, as shared in here, this is allegations. All things are alleged until we see what comes what may of this particular situation. So it is a very unfortunate situation. It's very complicated considering that Al B. Shore and Kim Porter did have a son, do have a son, would be Quincy, and Quincy was pretty much raised by Diddy. Some think that Diddy adopted him. He hasn't changed his last name. I don't think there's anything that shows adoption in there, but really doesn't matter at this point. He was obviously a very pivotal father figure in Quincy's life. And where Albie Shore was during this time, who knows? Maybe the book will show more of that. Now, he has spoken a little bit about certain things, but there has been a lot more conversation, to my knowledge anyways, of hearing more about who he think might be potentially behind his situation, his medical issues that were quite dire while he was in his coma, and how he got there. So this is not something that has been new. If you happen to watch The Good Day New York, you would have seen that interview that he basically just said it out there and how he felt in regards to Diddy and what he thinks his role was in his situation. It's pretty bold words, obviously, and it is allegations, but he did put them out there. And so now we have to see how this goes. Now, as we know, Diddy is enthralled right now in his own situation legally. He's going through a whole lot of stuff, with currently going through what we call again the case of the century, where he is fighting for his life, really, against the allegations that have turned into charges of trafficking and racketeering and a slew of other things. So with that, we're going to move on to part 2, because apparently Kim Porter's best friend, or was known to be best friend, has reportedly have spoken out and broken her silence, we'll say anyways, in regards to these allegations that Albie Shore has placed upon Diddy. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so this sharing is going to be coming to us by way of, let's see what we're coming to. Hot new hip hop and Newsbreak, which I think is probably the same place, isn't it? So here we go. It says Kim Porter's best friend breaks her silence on Albie Shore's Diddy's accusations. Now, during a recent appearance on TMZ Live, Lawanda Lala Lane addressed rumors surrounding her late friend Kim Porter's death. The rumors were sparked in part by Porter's ex-husband, Albie Shore, which I don't think Albie Shore and Porter actually was married, that they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, in a committed long-term relationship until it was over. But yeah, if you know something different, then let me know down below. Basically, who discussed her passing on Fox 5 New York earlier this month. He disputed the coroner's ruling that she died suddenly of pneumonia despite being otherwise healthy, insinuating that Diddy could have allegedly had something to do with it. He also suggested that the Bad Boy founder could have allegedly been behind his 2022 health scare. Lala was quick to shut those theories down, however, and to call out the singer for spreading them. To speak so recklessly on stuff that you know nothing about is wrong, she explained. You saw that woman 2 months before she died for an hour. You were not her friend and you didn't have a relationship. Okay, she's talking a lot. Diddy's trial. Well, there's no benefit for Sean to lose the mother of his children, she continued, denying speculation that Porter was planning to expose secrets in a book that was not Kim's mindset. That was our friend. That was somebody's daughter, someone's granddaughter, and someone's mother. Her kids knew she was not well, she added, and for people who weren't there to speak out as if they were, it's not just wrong, it's cruel. Lala's latest claims come before the third week of Diddy's long-awaited trafficking trial, which is set to continue on Tuesday, May 27th. And so far, various individuals from his past, including Cassie, Don Richard, and his alleged former fixer, have taken the stand. Now, Kid Cudi also testified last week, accusing the mogul of breaking into his house after learning about his fling with Cassie. He even claimed his Porsche was set on fire with a Molotov cocktail, and he suspects Diddy allegedly had something to do with that. And of course, if you haven't had an opportunity, I implore you to go ahead and take a look-see at some of the videos that I have done. I have actually done a overview recap of week 1 and week 2 thus far, because we are in week 3 or ending week 3 at this point. So week 3 will be coming up, as far as getting you kind of abreast of what's been going on with Diddy's trial currently. And so, yeah, that's a lot to be said, isn't it? I mean, quite a rebuke of what Albie Shore has been talking about for, I would say, the better part of the last couple of years. Now, one thing that has been very much perplexing is how this must be dealing with the connection that he has with Quincy. Obviously, Quincy is his son biologically, and in order to be able to move forward with these type of accusations, it must be difficult for Quincy to hear those things. Now, there are a lot of people who do feel that there's probably some merit to what Albie Shore is saying, and there's others who do not feel that there's merit to what Albie Shore is saying. So again, mixed bag. People are split on this. But to have a best friend to come out and say that these claims are not only reckless but cruel, and that they did not happen, in her opinion and in her thought and what she is sharing, this will be interesting. It remains to be seen how things unfold from this point. There has been definitely things that have come out in regards to other members that were connected close to Diddy for earlier on into his career and continued on, where there was speculation that books were being made or were going to be written. And so now Albie Shore is one that's actually doing a book. So that memoir is going to really raise a lot of awareness to individuals. They're going to be on the lookout for that. They're going to want to know all of these specifics that Albie Shore has to provide. And for him saying that at this point, he's the only one that's basically standing out of all of those individuals that were in that, quadrant that are connected with Diddy. It's a very sobering situation indeed to even make that statement and to even have that as a situation on your conscience that you feel deeply for whatever reason, for whatever may have been said or not said. We don't really know the full story, the full gamut on it, but I feel that Albie Shore for sure is going to take this time in his memoir to be able to, divulge his side of the story in greater detail. So I do think it's going to be a highly anticipated book. Are you planning to grab that memoir when it becomes available? Let me know down below. Do you think that Albie Shore is being reckless in his being so vocal about his situation and how he feels about this? Or do you think that he's in his right to be able to say whatever he feels he needs to say and come what may? He says he's willing to testify in court, so that does put an extra little sauce on things. Do I think that he'll actually will go to court for something like this in this situation? Who knows, really, at this point. Diddy, like I said, is very much ensnarled in a lot of what's going on with the case that he's got going on now, with the charges that he's got going on now that are extremely serious charges. And if he is found convicted, he could be looking to do the rest of his life in jail. And so that in itself is a sobering thought, I'm sure, for him and his family, and for those who believe in him or for those who don't. Either way, the circumstance of that happening is a very telling one, and it's definitely going to be a true way of looking at how our society is moving forward in these types of claims and situations, and so forth and so on. So Albie Shore coming out is speaking so openly the way that he did, doing it now so many years later. I mean, obviously you've heard all the rumors, we've heard the allegations of the fear tactics and all that kind of stuff. I really would like to know more about why Albie Shore was as silent as he was, and I really want to hear more from his mouth, his words. A docuseries I would be there for to watch and listen, because I really would like to know his side of things, in the sense of his participation and lack thereof, especially that in which his participation or their lack thereof, whatever that may be, in regards to his son. And, a lot of us do have a perplexing feeling like, how was it that another man was able to raise your son when you are who you are? And what happened there? And why did it happen? And, to the extent of what Albie Shore would feel comfortable in speaking about it, I would be here to listen to it. I would love to know the side from him, and not just what I've heard maybe from third, person or that kind of thing. Would love to hear about that, but of course, we'll have to see, because again, all things are alleged at this point. And Diddy at this point also is not in a position to really defend himself against this situation, because he's defending himself against a lot of other things at this point. So definitely would love to know your thoughts. So definitely leave those down respectfully below. What are your thoughts about Albie Shore and what he's had to say, the things that I just asked you just a second ago as well? And what are your thoughts about the best friend speaking out and breaking her silence and saying what she's had to say? It's definitely, one side and then the other side. I kind of thought that maybe with how forceful the information has been coming out on Albie Shore's side, I kind of thought that she might have been maybe, could potentially had co-signed on some of that, but it doesn't seem like she's co-signing on any of it. So therefore, it'll be interesting to see how all of this shapes up. Is there going to be a situation in which Albie Shore will have to really put all of what he's got to say in court? Is he going to have to be on stand? Is he going to have to talk about that? What is going to happen next, right? I think all of us maybe be interested to know, especially after we get to the conclusion of the current case that Diddy is in this moment. So with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu on this video because I think that about does it for this one. Definitely let me know your thoughts, especially down below in the comment section. I would so appreciate it. And of course, I'm going to be dropping down 2 more videos for today. So I want to make sure that you are back here and able to take a peek at that. A look see, you know what I mean. A view, a watch. And definitely share your thoughts on those because I'm going to be definitely sharing your thoughts on mine. And yeah, the heaviness of this one, it runs deep, but I think we're going to be hearing so many stories for so many years to come along that's associated with Diddy and everything that's been going on, and all the people who have seemingly been affected, whether good or bad, from these situations and the fallout of these situations. So with that, I'm going to again bid you adieu. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and be part of the family. I would so love to have you. And if you're already part of the family, thank you for your continued viewing and listening support, as I so do appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to be back later on. So you make sure you come back and check me out and let me know what you think about this story and the ones that are going to be coming up down the pike. So until next time, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.